Tom Wold of Wold Realty, because not only is he a new advertiser, but the home sales and buying and selling right now is
some good stuff happening.
the time.
It's nice to get out with some positive news these days. Absolutely.
Tom, first of all, let's learn a little bit about Tom Wold for some of the listeners.
Sure.
Who is Tom Wold?
Tom Wold is, I've been a full-time real estate professional here in the area for 21 years. I've got my own independent company out of Cherville, and we're in the process of possibly expanding to new offices. I've been blessed with a wife for 24 years and 2 children, and the real estate profession has been fabulous to me. I've enjoyed it. We've been through some interesting times, obviously, but things are good, and there's a lot of good stuff happening in the region.
Now, Pat Renwick told me that you were used to be coached by his father.
Shut up. Pat told you that?
Yes.
Absolutely. It was funny. I had talked to him a couple of times, had no idea that this was Jim Renwick's kid. And I can't say enough about his mom and dad. I mean, his dad was a mentor to me at St. Anne's back in Lansing, back in the late 60s, somewhere in that area. Yeah, or whatever it was, or 80s or whatever it was. But Jim Renwick's a great man, and his brother-in-law, Bill Vlasic, who's attorney in Lansing, was also one of my history teachers back in the day. So great people. So we know where Pat came from.
There you go.
Wow. Good foundation for him.
And that's why they're nice people, because they actually claim them.
Yeah, they do let him use the name. Yeah. I assumed he wasn't one of theirs when I saw the name, but he is.
And, of course, Pat brought us together here on today's show.
Absolutely.
And well, let's get right into this.
Sure.
We're talking all-time lows now with home affordability.
You know, it's... Obviously, you hear all the news, okay? It's been a tough time. Everybody knows that. And it's unfortunate. There's been a lot of distress in the real estate industry. But today, the interest rates are unbelievable. We closed on a house a couple of weeks ago. I think they got a 3.8% FHA loan. And values are very low, okay? I mean, it's a down thing that the market is down, but it's a good thing if you want to buy today. Interest rates are as low as I've seen since I've been in business, and the values are as low as I've seen. And I know there's a lot of folks waiting for the market, to hit bottom, and I think we're there, Stu. There's been some fabulous indicators that the market's doing well. We're seeing multiple offers on properties, which we haven't seen in a long time. We're fighting appraisal issues in a way that we're in a market now we can sell homes for a certain value, but we don't have the history to support that value, meaning the market's coming up.
Has the market itself corrected it? Has the market corrected itself from the past where they had were they predatory lenders, I guess, or not predatory, but just that
the subprime financing,
or if for laymen like me, the dumb loans. If you can't afford a home, regardless, even if it's all-time low, you can't get in a home.
And the good thing about today's market, you have to have credit. Okay, you have to have some money down. There's homes in Hammond you can get into now with really zero money down, but you have to have decent credit. You have to have a little bit of money, but that's different from when it used to be. You could have almost any credit. If you could scrape up a couple $100, you could buy a home. And values were inflated. It was an ugly situation. I remember when it first started happening, I looked at one of my assistants and said, "This is it. It's over." When that market started happening, people were paying more than they were actually worth. People who shouldn't have been in home ownership's a big responsibility. So people who shouldn't have been buying homes were buying homes, and it drove the values to unrealistic prices.
To go back to, why were people just so, it was just to get that quick buck as people to
buy homes?
Or to sell to people that they know,
Well, I think the predatory lenders did a good job of saying this is like a once-in-a-lifetime for home ownership. And they painted a glorious picture of what that meant. And honestly, people didn't get into this for bad reasons. There were bad results because they found out home ownership can be costly. Yeah, there's responsibility that goes with being a homeowner. There's upkeep and repairs. And if you're buying a home with no money down and you have no money and your furnace goes out the first year, you're in trouble. So you couldn't maintain the home the way it needed to be.
Yeah, you're not just calling the landlord or knocking on the door of Schneider.
Absolutely, absolutely. So it was a tough time. I don't blame people for taking advantage of the opportunity. they assumed that when that market was taken off and there was that subprime lending, that the market would continue to appreciate. They didn't realize the fallout of what happened would be home values going over and foreclosures and distressed sales because people couldn't afford to stay in their homes.
Now, what are really the big signs that our local market is making the best time to buy a home?
For me, what I'm seeing, again, I talked about multiple offers on properties, meaning, there's certain pockets that if you put a home up for sale today, nice condition home, priced right for the market today, there will be more than one offer on it. Very common happening today. So that's a great sign that the demand is coming back, and demand drives value. So that demand's coming back, which is driving value.
Well, and that's actually probably a good sign of the society with people realize that, I have to only go for the home run jobs out there. And I think because they're thinking, well, how am I going to afford a home without that, big marquee job?
Absolutely.
I'm going to hold off and I'm going to keep on putting my resume out there to get that big job instead of taking the $10 an hour or even, some jobs.
Yeah. I mean, there's homes, well, let's look at the Hammond market. I've got 2 or 3 homes for sale in Hammond right now, 3-bedroom, 2-car garage for $50,000. Michael, you buy that home, your payment's going to be about $400 to own that property right now. And those are homes that people are renting for $850, $900. So I think what the message I want to, if you're making $10 an hour and you have a year and a half, 2 years on a job, good credit, you can buy a home and have a payment of about $400. And your outlay might be $1,500 to buy that home.
That's actually good news, especially for some of the students here at Purdue Cal. Might be a senior, you're living out. Maybe now's the time as you're getting close to graduation, or you have graduated.
Absolutely.
You found yourself a nice little job. Maybe you want to go for your master's. This is an excellent time.
Absolutely.
Some houses near Purdue Cal even.